Do you have concerns about retaining your club's membership? Tonight, Laura St. Louis is going to discuss how the Moments of Truth provides the secrets to membership retention. 4 of the moments are directly linked to keeping members engaged and enthusiastic, not only for their personal goals, but for the goals of the entire club. Get ready to jump in and spend the next 40 minutes discussing best practices, sharing suggestions, and developing ideas to make your club as strong as it can be. Please help me welcome past District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Laura St. Louis.
Laura.
Well, good evening, everybody. I would like to know who of you here is an officer for the first time? Couple of awesome. Well, thank you so very much for, taking the courage to step up and take on such an important role. How many of you have been officers before? Pretty much everybody. All right. Well, and thank you all for your service to this fantastic organization. Do any of you have concerns about keeping members in your clubs? Yeah.
Us?
It's a common concern amongst club and district leaders. Tonight, I'm going to offer some suggestions to keep our members by using the Moments of Truth as a guide. It's not working. Oh, hold on. Okay. There are three objectives for this evening. First, what are the moments of truth? We're going to talk about how they apply to retaining membership, and then what are some of the best practices for retaining members. For those of you that do not know.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me it's not working.
Okay, go back. Yes.
All right.
That's okay. For those of you that don't know what the moments of truth are, I'm going to give you a quick definition. In Toastmasters, the Moments of Truth is a club quality assessment program that uses a structured evaluation of six key areas to help the clubs identify areas for improvement and to ensure a positive, supportive learning experience for all members and guests. The program focuses on contact points where guests and members form impressions about the club's quality and service, providing a framework for clubs to maintain high standards and meet members' needs. Next. These are the moments of truth. First impressions, membership orientation, fellowship variety and communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. We are not going to talk about all of those next. We are only going to talk about these 4. Because these 4 help us focus on membership retention. Next. Oh, I forgot to change. It's just. Yep, go back. Okay. Membership orientation. Imagine joining a club and no one helps you. You are left to flounder and figure out pathways all on your own. You don't understand the meeting roles. You don't understand the agenda. You don't even know how to sign up for anything. No one's friendly, and you are basically ignored from day one. Who here has ever had that type of experience? In a Toastmasters club?
I've seen it.
Oh my, okay.
Probably a low membership club.
That's quite entirely possible. So even not in Toastmasters. So James,
Yeah.
You said you have felt this way. What was the situation?
Well, not in Toastmasters,
Fair.
but with a previous employer. I had just joined their military business resource group. And never having been a member of any BRG before, I didn't know quite what to expect. So as a recommendation by one of the leaders within consumer operations, I signed up, I attended a meeting, and really nobody told me what to expect. Nobody really explained anything to me. They greeted me, but that was about the extent of it. So I spent that entire hour just really trying to figure out what they were talking about or what was happening, or really even what was the purpose, like why am I here? What's in it for me? So it wasn't the best first experience that I had with that particular BRG.
Did you go back?
I did, and it was a better experience, but that first experience was not the most ideal.
Now, BRG is something you have to join. You have to become a member.
It was recommended as a supervisor at the time. It was suggested that I do join for a networking opportunity as a way for me to get involved with consumer operations a little bit more, get involved in the community, make a name for myself, and help a good cause.
Did you join?
I eventually ended up joining, yes.
Okay, why did you join?
I joined because honestly, I felt that I could help provide a sense of structure to the BRG and really help ensure that new members to the BRG wouldn't have had that same experience that I did.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, now imagine you join a club and you are paired up with a mentor right away. Your mentor helps you with signing up for pathways. They explain the agenda, they provide you with the information about each meeting role, and everyone embraces you as a part of the family. Now, who's had this type of experience?
Negatively.
Okay.
Where you haven't had that.
Yeah, not it.
You've not had that.
In Toastmasters.
You have in Toastmasters
No, I have not had that in Toastmaster, I mean, in a Toastmaster group.
at all?
Well, I'm thinking back to my first experience with Toastmasters where I literally went to the meeting 6 times before I joined,
Okay.
once a week for 6 weeks. I stuck it out. I was determined.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have anybody come alongside me and encourage me much, maybe
Okay.
a little bit, but not much. Didn't get out, and then when I did join, I got a mentor assigned who basically was AWOL. And I never never communicated with me in return for
Okay.
emails and stuff. So it was like, I was like, kind of like on my own. And then as I got in the club and started doing things, I had more people take notice that, oh, she's doing something. And then they asked me to become an officer.
See, since you did something.
Yeah, and so then I really got the help I needed, but I mean, it wasn't at the beginning, no.
We have a hand raised online, yeah. Josh.
Well, Josh has his hand raised.
Oh, I'm
That's a timer.
sorry. It
That's
was giving me a note. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It gave me a notice that there's a hand raised, but that was Josh for his timer. I apologize.
Got it. Okay. So Ron, you had a positive experience.
Yes, I did.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, I think the member, he probably was an officer, I really don't know, I had no idea what officers were at the time. But I think that's the ad I responded, because they were the new club.
Okay.
And I saw the ad several times, and I finally showed up, actually on the last day, so I was not didn't join on the last day you could, so I was the first honorary charter member after that I became, but he, remember going there, so I didn't recognize him, he caught me and I sat down with him, we did that for a number of meetings, and of course, if my meeting wasn't there, I didn't, it felt kind of odd, because I'm used to sitting next to Jerry there.
Yeah.
But I guess I did all right, because 6 months later I was president, so that worked out.
Okay. That worked out.
But it worked, it was good, it was very good experience, he did a good job.
Awesome. Well, I remember attending a club meeting, and in fact, another club, I believe, back when you were meeting at junior high, high school.
The school, yeah.
Yeah.
School.
And I remember watching one of the members, there was a guest there, and she sat next to the guest and kind of whispered to them the whole time about this is what's going on and this is what we're doing. I believe that person joined. And I think it's because the club member sat next to this person and kind of filled them in on what was happening during the entire process of the meeting, which I thought was fantastic. And it wasn't distracting. Like I said, she was whispering, but I was sitting behind her. It's the only reason I noticed it. Otherwise, I don't think anybody heard her whatsoever. Yes, Bruce.
I think what I'm hearing with those two examples, kind of 280 degrees from each other, right? In terms of experiences, is really part of the reason why we're here talking about this, right? Is because, you know, there's good and there's not so good, and we want to find out how to turn that not so good into better. And that's what I'm taking already away from this.
Absolutely. Here's a scenario. Another thing you guys can think about. It's the 5th Monday of the month. That means potluck night. Yeah. Everybody brings a dish to pass based on the meeting's theme. And people sit around and chat about their lives, what's happening, you know, what's going on, got another grandkid on the way, et cetera, et cetera. Someone brings up an interesting story. Well, what do you do with an interesting story? You turn it into a table topic. All of a sudden, you're doing table topics about this person's story. Doesn't that sound like fun? Well, that's the whole purpose behind fellowship, variety, and communication. You want to have some fun. You want to be able to greet people. You want to have enjoyable, dynamic meetings. And there are things you can do. You can have, I heard recently someone suggest they had a chess themed meeting, and people dressed up either in all white or all black. And then, you know, white was on one side, black was on the other. And everything was centered around this chess theme. So they looked like they were at a chessboard. It was very cool. I could just visualize it. And that's some of the things that can be done. Just get creative. We've done I've sat through one backwards meeting. That was interesting. Very interesting and very hard to do. So it really, really stretches the people that have taken on leadership roles during the meeting. During the announcements, we're told that contests are coming up, and we encourage members to compete in the club contest that will take place in January. How do you feel your clubs are doing right now when it comes to fellowship, variety, and communication? Are you getting themes in your clubs? Are you having dinners together or anything like that? Are you doing anything like that in your clubs? It doesn't matter. Yes, Ron.
Well, just this coming Thursday, we're having a picnic for my one club. We do it annually. So that's kind of fun to get together.
Yep.
After, you know, in the evening sometime, and you can have some food, maybe a little alcoholic beverage or something too.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
even though it's by church. That's okay.
Are you conducting an actual meeting, or are you just,
No,
is
it's
it just
not.
a social?
Yeah,
Okay.
something may come up like table topics. Big thing is just to get together.
So one of the things, one of the other advanced clubs that I am a member of did several summers ago, was we had an actual meeting, an outdoor meeting at a park. You know, they had a shelter and they had, you know, tables and everything set up, so we could conduct an actual meeting. I think we had to reserve the shelter so that it was ours for that Saturday, but we did an actual outdoor meeting, and it was very well received, and it was a lot of fun. So the point being, yeah, you can do just the social things too, but you can also find innovative ways to move your meeting to another setting and find another way to add some spice into it.
Well, and I remember having a meeting at a cat cafe in the cat room. Kittens everywhere, climbing on the lectern and on you, and it was so much fun. I wanted to go home with all of them, but of course I couldn't. But yeah, just different places to have it, different suggestions. What, you got something, Ron?
Yeah, it was a fun little time back. One time we were meeting up in Rockford, but the meeting location wasn't available that night, so we met at the community cabin in town. It's just community, right? But the cabin was also closed, so we sat outside, had a meeting. It was an area governor visit, and What was fun about it is the sprinklers came on way off. The governor got sprinkled. So
Yeah.
for her, but
Yeah.
that was fun.
Oh, yeah, well, and this is what creates memories. You know, this brings about affection for the people, not only in your club, but for, well, specifically for people in the club. And if you can bring in other clubs, there have been area directors that have held, you know, events for all the clubs in their area. So 5, 6, 4 or 5 clubs get together. The clubs in the Holland area used to do this too. They would meet at a bar and they would, just kind of sit around, chit chat, have some appetizers, adult beverages, and then do table talks. And it would be like an hour and a half, be slightly longer than a standard meeting. But that allowed them to have some fun at the same time as another option. We have anything? No, no questions? Yes, please.
This reminds me of when I first came to this country and I was in fourth or fifth grade. And I didn't speak English. So I didn't know not just the culture, the language, the people. I was thrown into the total different environment. I felt like an alien, and I guess that's why we call them aliens. I don't know. Or I was an alien coming from Mexico. So, and then I had to go to school. And the school teacher didn't speak Spanish. She was my first African American teacher. And I've never seen Black people in my life. So I was very excited, but at the same time fear or whatever, kids, and then a lot of African American kids because it was a public school. A lot of Latino kids, and a lot of Latino kids spoke Spanish. So the teacher almost immediately gave me a buddy. So a buddy system, the person who was translating for me and making sure to navigate my new environment, how to survive in this place. It's time to go eat lunch. I said, what? Time to eat lunch? It says, yes, it's free lunch. And so we went and we had recess, and it became fun because then we were speaking our Spanish language and having and enjoying, but at the same time, I sat in the instruction chair and but not understanding what she was trying to teach us.
Right.
So eventually, another adult came over but the kids kept translating to me about what was being said. This is no different. This club, or anybody else that joins. Yeah. It's a whole different culture. It's a whole different way of getting along, or how to speak, how to say something, how to promote yourself, how to progress, how to see or get ideas, how to stimulate creativity, or whatever it is that we're trying to do.
Right.
So that's what reminded me about this experience that you're mentioning. As a child, as new children come in, or adults, or whoever, as going into a new environment, you need a buddy system.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's a perfect example. Outside of club environment, it's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Look, Laura, one other thing I'd just like to make a little bit more of a comment on some of these meeting themes that sometimes people might look at, like meeting at the pet place. Some people might look at that and say, well, why would you subject your club and your speakers to all that commotion and distraction? Well, it was an advanced club.
Yes.
And so the way I looked at it when I heard we were doing that was, this is a challenge. This is what we should put our advanced speakers up against, is some of those challenging places where you're gonna have speeches where you're gonna have distractions, you're gonna have commotion and that sort of thing. So what a great way to create that environment for a club, but by having a meeting in that environment and almost forcing it or making it for sure that you're gonna have something happen. Nobody knows exactly what it's gonna be, but that's a true environment for a speaker. So I looked at it that way. And so I think when you think about these, at least the way I think about these themes sometimes, is think about it that way, not that you're interjecting something that's kind of ridiculous or whatever. Well, it might be different, it might be unique, but there's still gonna be a learning opportunity. Even a backwards meeting, there's a learning opportunity for that. So,
Absolutely. I think Jesse put something in the chat.
okay.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh,
just commenting
yeah,
on
absolutely.
Jesus.
Thank you. Yes, Jesse, you're absolutely right. It was an impressive story and example. Thank you.
Gonna move this over here. So it's open.
So next we want to talk about program planning and meeting organization. How many, well, I'm a very organized person. And next slide. I don't like things to be in disarray. I get anxious when things aren't where they should be. I have these little pet peeves where, oddly enough, for example, if your collar wasn't exactly right, I would be fixing it. You know, sometimes collars get turned up
Oh,
weird in
yeah.
the back, I would fix it. I
Oh,
would say something first because I don't know you very well.
Right.
But if it was Bruce, heck, I just walk up to him and fix it.
She has several times.
I have, yes, I have. Well, that's just one of my things, all right? So I get anxious. I want the meeting to start on time. I want a full agenda. I want everybody to show up, because if it doesn't, I'm sweating. Especially if I'm the Toastmaster of the day or the president. Yeah, I'm really starting to worry. Now, how about the rest of you? How do you all feel about being in unsettled situations, unsure situations? I'm guessing you don't do well.
I do not do well, Laura. At
I
all.
thought so. So tell me how you react or how you feel when something isn't completely set.
Well, I am going to go back to our speech contests from earlier in the year,
Okay.
because even as a two-time area director, I wasn't as involved with planning, preparing, organizing, managing a speech contest like I was as the W Division director this past year. And I knew that that was going to be a very anxiety-driven, stress-filled event for me to have to work through. In fact, I remember July 1st, the first day of the 2024-2025 Toastmaster year, I was already sweating, knowing that the speech contests were really going to be in just a few months. And what I did to help me really prepare for that mentally, physically, is I started working on our speech contest almost immediately, drawing up outlines, thinking about who am I going to be able to reach out to and recruit as a volunteer to help me run the event. And really, even with all that planning and preparing, we still fell short with our recruiting efforts. When we conducted the all area speech contest for W Division last year, we conducted those speech contests with about half the number of volunteers than what we should have, where everyone who did volunteer were having to double up for 2 and 3 different roles all at the same time.
Okay.
And for me, it was very stressful, because I had planned and planned and planned, and I felt like I had done everything I could to ensure that the speech contests were successful, and they were. However, it was harder than what it should have been, just because I didn't have all the volunteers that we needed. And it wasn't until someone told me literally the night before our final walkthrough for the speech contest, where it was just like, James, take a breath, relax if you can. And just know that you've done everything that you could possibly do. It's up to us now to ensure. And the speech contest went off perfectly.
Yeah.
And they were successful, and everyone who entered to compete were able to do so, and we had winners, and it was a good time. But it was very, the hardest thing I did all year last year.
You can almost feel the weight literally come
Yeah.
off your shoulders, and I've had that feeling. Absolutely, it's, you just like. It literally, I remember literally feeling weight coming
Yeah.
off my shoulders when something was done. Yes, I completely understand that. What about, let's see, at other clubs, you either attend or have attended. What did you do to emphasize program planning and meeting organization? So what do you all do?
Go ahead.
What do you guys do? Is there, I've been, I don't want to say I'm ignoring people online, but you guys have been really quiet. So I would like to ask one of you, doesn't matter who answers. What do you do at your other clubs if it feels like things aren't going the way they should as a club officer? I'm gonna call on people if, because I can.
You can call on me, Laura.
Okay, Josh.
Um, well, if I felt things, and I do feel sometimes that things are not going in the correct direction, I would bring it up at the next officers meeting of the club, or I would formulate a plan to that I think would work, and I'd run it by the president, and then I'd put it into action. Right now, I don't think we're making enough progress on pathways. And so I'm assigning everybody dates for speeches and who's going to be Toastmaster, just sort of while I'm doing it because my president asked me to do it. So I'm going to tell them when they're going to be making speeches, and hopefully they'll listen to me.
Hopefully. All right, that's good. I mean, you're taking charge. I'm gonna be honest, I don't see anything wrong with that. The worst they can do is say, no, I'm not gonna do that, which of course. They have the right to do, obviously. But by
Yeah.
saying this is when you're gonna do it, you're kind of. Pushing them a little bit to really progress further in their goals and meeting their final goal for the year.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's because something I've noticed, and I'm not the first one to notice it, is that work expands to fill the amount of time that there is for it.
Yes.
So by giving somebody a deadline, I mean, I work better with deadlines. I produce something actually, and so, for example, all my projects in the garage are sitting there because there are no deadlines on them. I have a running motorcycle. I don't need another running motorcycle, or for that matter, a third one. I mean, I'm fine. If I had a deadline like fix this or something bad would happen, I might have more running motorcycles.
Makes perfect sense to me. All right, thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate that. The last one is achievement recognition. Everyone likes to be recognized. Don't you want to be recognized for something you've done, something you've accomplished? We are in Toastmasters. The easiest thing we can do is recognize people's pathways achievements. They've achieved a level. They did their first icebreaker ever after having joined. That's something to be very proud of. And we should celebrate when somebody does something like that. Celebrate when they finish a path. Celebrate when they achieve their DTM. However, it doesn't have to be just that. Why aren't we celebrating somebody giving a presentation outside of Toastmasters? Bruce, for example, does lots of presentations for his work. He goes to lots and lots of training sessions, and he gives presentations in those training sessions. So why aren't we celebrating that? These are things that we would be able to do within our club. And it doesn't have to be much. It can just be, somebody saying something, the president, for example, at the end of the meeting saying, hey, Bruce did a presentation this week and he nailed it. And that's recognition. People want to be recognized. Now, however, There are some people that would prefer just, just being Matthew, for example, and we're just talking and I'm going, "Good job." Because he doesn't, this is an example, because he doesn't want, everybody to know. And then there are others that want a ticker tape parade. You, okay.
Okay.
It can span the spectrum, absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing that you can sometimes think about is meeting people where they are to start, but then slowly growing them. Yes, for example, maybe I just do pull you aside and say, hey, great job on your icebreaker, but then when you hit level 2 or you finish a level 2, for example, then I say something in front of the club because your confidence is growing. And it may be easier now for you to accept a praise from in front of the entire group as opposed to just from one person individually. There's also a district newsletter. We could publish in the district newsletter. There's no reason why we couldn't do that. The more people are recognized, the more motivated they are. And the more motivated they are, the more apt they are to remain a member because they're seeing their growth and their development. Again, it doesn't have to be pathways recognition. So we've talked about, how do you, Kimberly, I'm gonna pick on you.
Mary's got
You are in several clubs. You have been a club officer. I'm assuming you are a club officer still. How do you in your club recognize member achievement?
I can give you one example for my corporate club, and which is also my home club, is that at our meetings, as part of the upfront Toastmaster of the day, we recognize anniversaries, Toastmaster anniversaries, we recognize new members, and then also in other clubs, it's like, for example, if someone gave their icebreaker speech, we would stand up and give them an applause, and then they would also, in that club, they give out a ribbon, icebreaker ribbon, for as recognition. And so I think it's as recognizing them up front, and for the anniversaries, we do that quarterly. Other recognitions, we give them, at right after or at that specific meeting. So I think it's to look at, have them timely and often, and sometimes it's just a card. If someone doesn't, would prefer to be not in front of the group, but send them a card and say, congratulations, you just did your icebreaker. So I think all that for new members, it's that positive reinforcement or positive. And also I always call it positive pressure for brand new members. I'm like, hey, let's, get that signed up and then they're and it keeps that momentum going.
Right. Thank you very much. I like that. That's excellent. Thank you. One other thing.
Okay, I have one.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yes, we give ribbons for best speaker, icebreaker, table topics, and evaluation, and then usually we have the winners pose with the Toastmaster banner when we do meetings in person, and then we put them on a Facebook page.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. Thank you very much, Mary. Putting them on Facebook, so it's on your club Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay.
And America now has us into Canvas, where we have sort of the rolling video thing too. And
okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Mary. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So tonight we have talked about these 4 specific areas of the moments of truth in order to build or retain members. Next slide. We've talked about what are the moments of truth, how they apply to retaining members, and then what some of the best practices are in order to retain our members. Next. What I want to know is, what questions do you have for me? Is there anything that, since we've been talking tonight, that you're curious about? If you have any questions about, Ron?
How often would you think you should do the moments of truth?
They should be done at least once a year. Preferably at the start of the year, because that's when you're doing your club success plan. So I recommend doing it at the start of the year. Bruce?
Question I had, did you have a follow-up to that, Ron, or is that?
No, okay.
The question I had was, if you have a club that is not engaging in the Pathways program, what would you suggest to light a fire?
What do you all think?
Possibly recommending a club coach
Okay,
for that club, an outsider, someone to come into that club, see things with a fresh perspective, and possibly offer some new ideas, give advice, to help really kind of maybe refocus, recenter that club and get them engaged in Pathways.
excellent. What else?
Yeah.
What else, Ron?
And I think a really good thing used to always do it at my home club is have a newsletter. By the newsletter, I mean, it doesn't have to be a physical newsletter. It's an email going out and say, yeah, you know, John did a speech about his favorite dog. And Sal did this, and you know, Susie got a new job. You always want to throw there. Somebody doing something different, bought a house, bought a new job, bought a new car, bought a new motorcycle, Josh. I just got
But it's a way to help people keep tabs on one another.
Well, and that goes out with members who are there, members who aren't.
Yeah,
We send it out, so that's a way to solicit interest, keep people involved, and that's,
absolutely.
you know, we know what's going on.
It's a great idea. Any other suggestions?
Lisa has one.
Yes, Lisa.
You know, I just want to say have a great elevator speech. Wendy's really excited about this. And so her talking about it kind of made me like, what is that? I'm very interested, but if you don't hear about it, you don't know to engage, you don't know where to search. And I'm brand new. I'm listening to you guys, and this is really fun. And I'm gonna go to Marquette and see what they do. But it's something like just a good elevator speech, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I like the idea of bringing in somebody from outside, because sometimes people won't listen to people they know. I mean,
Yeah.
I work on getting people to do Pathways all the time. And bringing in somebody from outside, maybe we should hire somebody, or maybe somebody should like volunteer to be the Pathways motivator. I don't know.
Yeah. It can be tough.
It is.
I saw Ron's hand first.
Yeah, something, Josh, it reminded me of something we had a number of times in North Kent is we're in a small town, relatively small
Mhm.
town. And we'd have an open house where we'd invite some local business person or politician for that matter.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be the guest speaker, somebody maybe in the community might know. It gets members and gets other people in, at least exposed to the club, so it's kind of, and not to mention most business leaders, politicians. Love to speak.
Yes, they
Yes,
do.
How long? Get them done.
Yeah.
Get 'em
Yep,
done.
absolutely. Mr. Franson, you had something.
Yeah, I was thinking about my question, and actually an answer came to mind that I haven't heard, and you know, Toastmasters is an educational program,
Yes.
right? Pathways is our curriculum
Mhm.
of how we educate and train and teach our members. That's how I look at it. I mean, I look at it as being our fundamental curriculum of how we take the program and transfer it to our members and have them learn from it. It's a guidebook, it's the textbook.
Yes.
And so to me, it's fundamental that if you don't have the curriculum to follow, you're not gonna get as much value out of the program.
Right, exactly.
I wrote that
Well-
down. That's really good.
What was that?
I said I wrote that down. Bruce has once again come up with a really great.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, well, next slide. I truly hope you found this session helpful. and with suggestions for retaining your members for your club, and that you'll put some of these into practice. I'd like to hear from you if you have any
Okay.
ideas that come up after today. This is my contact information. You're welcome to email or call me or text, anything. If you text, please let me know who you are, because otherwise you're gonna get a text back that says, who is this? So just let me know who you are, say, hey, this is Anna, blah, 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 blah. Would be greatly appreciated. And with that, thank you attending again, and I wish you all a great night.
Ooh, yay!